Hi everybody, it's Miss Cole, and this is the beginnings of my office area. I'm pretty excited about it. It's my summer project, one of them. This allows me to do my videos and my live streaming and stuff that I do without having to punt everybody out of the living room when I'm at home. And obviously I'm not going to be at school, so pretty much everything I'm doing on here is going to be at home. So I've started moving some of my school stuff in. I have my poetry books and my anthologies with me and going through some of my old things. Something from, I think that's San Diego Comic Con behind me, and just it's been nice going through some things and being like, oh, I remember that. It's pretty neat. So today I wanted to talk to you all about libraries. I signed up for the summer reading program at my local library, and when certain members of my family found out about it, they decided that they were going to sign up as well, and they did, in the hopes of, outreading me. Let me tell you, it's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. I am going to win, okay? I'm ridiculously competitive. So I wanted to talk first a little bit about the books that I have out and why I chose them. So they're right here. A little stretch here. This one is Troll Hunters, and I chose it because it was spied out, and I was like, oh, Guillermo del Toro. I was like, heck yeah, I'm taking that. And Troll Hunters, I'm like, that sounds pretty good. So I am not yet 20 pages in. It's pretty good so far. So we'll see how that goes. One that I am finished reading, but I have a bookmark in here because it also had early hip hop, sort of the early songs that defined the genre. So I want to make sure that I go back and I listen to those. Some of them I'm familiar with, and some of them I know the artists, and some of them I'm just like, not familiar with that at all. So it's pretty cool. And so this is Stamped, which is a retelling of Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram Kendi. It's sort of reimagined. It's not just simplified, but it's reimagined for a middle grade YA type audience. I also have finished Ghost Boys, which is upper middle grade, lower YA, really good. It deals with some of the modern problems with over-policing and police brutality, and it's not super violent or gory or anything like that. So the author was really judicious, but also it's just really well done. It is in making something that is just by its topic easily brought into question, but makes it not just, it's not sanitized, but it kind of cuts the legs off of anybody, complaining about it, because there's nothing to complain about. What are you going to complain about? This is about what happens. It's a realistic portrayal of people, and it's not. There's like, the only thing that's offensive about it is the truth. So, yeah, that's your problem. Then that's your problem. Maya and the Rising Dark, this was like so good. I just blew through. I read like the first 10 pages, and I was like, okay, that's enough for tonight. And, kind of got the idea of the book. And then I continued reading, and it was just like, it just kept getting better and better. And I think this is the beginning of a series, and I'm really hoping that the series gets better as it goes on, instead of, unfortunately, like all too many series, like, it's a great first book, and then, I have to keep writing more. And like the first one was where all the passion and the impetus was. They had all the time in the world to write it, because they didn't have a lot of other stuff going on. And also, reading the back end flap, the author grew up in small town Alabama. So, teaching in rural small town Georgia, I feel like a kinship there. It reminded me a lot of Shadow Shaper by Daniel Jose Older, but no, I liked that one a lot, but I like this one even better. The Shadow of Kyoshi is the second novel in a duet about the avatar Kyoshi. I have not started this one yet, but I read the first book and I enjoyed that. So I'm interested. Plus, I know that Kyoshi is really tall, so I'm like, yay, tall girls. Anatopsis, I literally chose because I was like, oh, it's like Thanatopsis, but without the TH at the front. And I read it, and the end flap seemed, sort of interesting. I don't have really high hopes for this one because that's not really the best way to be certain that you're going to like a book, but it was enough to make me curious about it. And as I'm going to talk about later, checking books out. Just checking books out. They don't know if you read them or not. Just checking them out is good in and of itself. Another one that I'm really looking forward to is We Are Not Free, which is YA, I think, and it's about some teens' experience in the internment camps during the Asian American internment camps during World War II. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And then more recently, I've picked up Debt, the first 5,000 Years. Pretty well condensed, if I do say so. 5,000 years, it's a big book, but, 5,000 years, condensing that's pretty good. By David Graeber, who I read B.S. Jobs, and I liked that one so much that I got it. And then, based on a recommendation, The Death and Life of Superman, which I don't know. Maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. Some people have questionable taste. That's all I'll say about that. Since I, re-upped my library card, I've mostly been using the Interlibrary Loan system. But when I went with my family members to the library and we were looking at books, I'm like, if I only get the books out from the Interlibrary Loan, then I might not win. So I went looking around the library and I picked up a bunch of books. But those last two did come through Interlibrary Loan. I've been waiting on those. And I did want to talk a little bit about the magic of Interlibrary Loan, and especially the way that you can do it online. So I use Goodreads, and I'll have my links, information on how you can friend me on Goodreads and see what I'm reading and make some recommendations and talk about what you're reading. It's a great website for that. And so on Goodreads, it'll make suggestions. People who liked the book that you're rating, you're giving a high rating to, also like these books. So I keep my want to read list on Goodreads, and then occasionally I'll go through the books that I want to read, look for titles that seem interesting to me, and then I'll go over to my library's system. Now for me, different libraries are going to have different systems. When I log in, I can then go to search, and if I have the title, one that I recently looked up was From Crook to Cook, which is a cookbook, obviously, but it's by Snoop Dogg. So I'm just really intrigued by this. It actually came across my Tumblr feed, and that was how I found out about it. So I've got it on my Goodreads to read list. But I went ahead, usually I'll go through and I'll look for stuff that's been on there for a while. But I went ahead and put that in my, I searched for it on the Interlibrary Loan system because I was like, most of what I have is novels and nonfiction, and I don't have, a cookbook on there, so I'll put that in there so I get a little bit more variety. And then what I'll do is I'll first look at the library that I go to most often, my default library, and I'll see if they actually have a copy so that I can say, pull from, I want to pull from this one. So they'll be able to go to their own collection, grab it. And they might do that anyway, I just don't know. And if I don't find it there, then I go to Search Within, and it's called the Pines system here in Georgia. And I don't think it pulls from everything, because I think the Atlanta Metro system is not part of the statewide Interlibrary Loan system, which kind of sucks. Also, I don't think it pulls from university libraries. I used to live up in Pennsylvania, and let me tell you, obscure books, being able to pull from university libraries was amazing up in Pennsylvania with the Access PA library system. I like that one better, but wherever you're at, Interlibrary Loan is a wonderful tool. So then through the system, I can see what I've got on hold, and then it'll tell me sort of where they're at, whether I am waiting for a copy or whether it is, oh boy, they're all in transit. Ha ha ha. So I've got 7 books that are on their way here, and I've got 9 items that are checked out. Although, like I said, some of these I've finished. I'm just kind of hanging on to them so I can show them to you guys. But the books that I have on hold that are in transit are The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. And I'm really sorry if I butcher people's names. I'm doing my best, I promise. But I've only seen them in print. Lady Killer by Joelle Jones. Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron, who also wrote, she's the one who wrote Maya and the Rising Dark. So that is the first book in a different series. Other People's Children, Cultural Conflict in the Classroom, which is a teaching book because, technically I'm, off the clock, but, it's what I do. Jane Steele, A Confession, which is a sort of a reimagining of Jane Eyre. Look Both Ways, A Tale Told in 10 Blocks by Jason Reynolds, who is the author of Stamped, and then From Crook to Cook, which is already in transit. So cool. Sometimes it'll say waiting for copy because they're all checked out, and that happens. And then I've also noticed that if a book if a book is really new, it'll say you can't place that book on hold yet sometimes. And then the other thing is, sometimes I just return books that I really, really like without finishing reading them. And that's what's happened to a couple of them. I talked about buying David Graeber's BS Jobs, and two others that I have. My guideline for this, I try to avoid buying books because I have a lot of books, you guys. Like, this is nothing. This is nothing. One day I'll show you, or like I'll take pictures or something. BS Jobs by David Graeber is one, and then also Thinking Fast and Slow. This was another one that I purchased after I, read it at the library. And so my guideline for that is, do I start wanting to write notes in the margins? And if I want to start writing notes, I shouldn't do it with a library book. So I also purchased Stacey Abrams' book, Lead from the Outside. And, oh yeah, I do have, oh, yep, here they are. Okay, so, and yeah, that was also why I purchased The Dispossessed, which I did on Readaway. And then also The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And the Emily Watson's translation of The Odyssey. So all of these are ones that I was like, I have to, I started taking notes. And if you go on to Goodreads, I think for two of them, Thinking Fast and Slow and BS Jobs, I have like notes. But then eventually I got to the point where I'm like, I don't think anybody's reading these, so I'm just gonna like buy the book. And then I'll just put the notes in the pages so that I actually have my response to it. Like, I can just underline it, and it's so much faster than typing that out. Not that I'm a slow typist, but it's a lot, you guys. Like, when I take a lot of notes, I take a lot of notes. One of the reasons that I like Interlibrary Loan is I'm not old, but I'm old enough to remember card catalogs and the old Interlibrary Loan system, which was you like wrote out your request for a book, and then you brought your paper up to the librarian, and then they would like contact other libraries to try to find it, or, go through, their own system. And man, like, the access that we have now with, these sorts of programs and then, the network of the internet is just like, yes, I want this book. Okay, there's so many books out there. There's so many books. But in addition to that, there are other remote options that mean you don't even have to go, like, all I have to do, literally, I go to the library, I put down my card, and I say, hey, I've got books on hold. And because I go so often, they're like, oh yeah, like they see me coming in, they're like, oh, you had some books that came in today. I'm like, yeah, I know. I check the thing pretty regularly. I check the website. So I know when the books come in. So they don't like either. Sometimes if I have a lot of books out, I'll like wait to check them out because they'll hold on to them for a week before they send them back. And so I'll wait to check them out while I'm trying to finish the other ones. And then I'll check those out because I got 2 weeks, and then maybe I can renew them. Sometimes you can't renew them because somebody else has them on hold. So you have to try to get, if you want to, you have to try to get through them in 2 weeks. Otherwise, you might have to take them back or accrue late fees, which, it happens. But you have other remote options, such as ebooks. You can actually, many libraries will have ebook programs like Overdrive or Libby, where you can sign a book out on your tablet or your phone or your computer. And you get the ebook copy. And the nice thing about this is that there are no late fees whatsoever, because when the book is due, it just goes away. You just don't have access to it anymore. And many of those will have books that you've read in the past, like they'll reappear. So if you don't get to finish the book, you can go and you can sign it out again. Now they do have, despite the fact that these are digital books, which means it's just like pixels, the arrangement of light on your screen. Like, it doesn't take anything. They could make copies and it would cost nothing. They still have a limited number of licenses, so you may still have to wait for a copy of the book to become, a license essentially of the book to become available for you. This is also, it also applies to audiobooks. I remember when audiobooks used to be like I mean, maybe they still are. I don't know. I've never purchased an audiobook, but they used to be so expensive. And then I saw the audiobook version of, I think, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. And it's like this huge case because it's CD after CD after CD after CD after CD after CD after CD. This is back in the day when CDs didn't hold as much. And I'm just like, oh, that's why they cost so much. But yeah, they're like hours and hours and hours. They're great to listen to while you're doing something else. If you're not completely focused on something else, they're great to listen to in the car. And that was actually the first way that I read The Dispossessed, was through an audiobook, because it was during the school year, and I was like, I don't know that I can, like, after school, if I can brain my way through sitting down and looking at more text on paper. I just can't do it. So I was like, yeah, I'll try it, and I'll put it on my phone and then plug it in to the car, and we'll see how it goes. And it was transformative. It was a transformative experience for me. I still do prefer text on paper in general, because then I can go at my own pace. I think some of the programs do allow you to have it read to you faster or slower, depending on your processing, what you like to listen to. But just in general, I like the flexibility of physical books. I prefer physical books to ebooks, or even to print ebooks. I prefer the physical copies. In addition, libraries aren't just about books. If you've been to a library, you've probably seen the DVD section. Some libraries will rent DVDs to you, and others you can just check them out for free. And I love free so much. And it's really interesting because the selection is just going to be so eclectic. It's generally movies that are popular, but they'll also have documentaries and informational stuff. And then, of course, it's a collection, so, they don't just get rid of stuff just because it's no longer super popular. So new stuff tends not to stay on the shelf. But like older stuff, it's like, oh yeah, E.T., and maybe you were little, and, I was little when that came out, and when it came out, DVD did not exist. So then, I'm older, and I'm getting movies and stuff, and I don't know if I have a copy of it, but it's at the library, so I can watch a DVD of that from the library. There are so many programs at libraries that you do have to go to if you're going to participate in them, but they're absolutely amazing. My local library, as part of the summer program, that they're doing yoga on Saturday. And I went this past Saturday, and I'm planning to go this coming up Saturday too. And it has nothing to do with books. It's a community feature, and libraries do a lot of things that are central to building community. For example, the Los Angeles system, their library card can be used for free or discounted admission to some of the museums in LA, like the Broad, the Autry Museum of the American West, Kids Space Children's Museum. Many of the library branches will put a limit on how many free passes one particular library patron can use per month or per year. You can go online, find out what's available at your library. A lot of these are to encourage you to become aware or to use local and regional resources. Libraries often have apps that you can have some access to for things like learning languages. Mango is a popular app for that. You can use your library card number for that. Mango offers Spanish, French, Italian, Chinese, both Mandarin and Cantonese, Arabic, Korean, Russian, Tagalog, Greek, or Latin, and there's no charge for that. And also it provides English instruction for non-native speakers of English. All sorts of instructional content is available. Libraries are places to learn, not just through books. Libraries often will have a computer section where cardholders can use the computers to search for a job or study for the GED, find resources to get a job or to start their own business, government documents, tax forms. Good library. They not only will offer computer access, but they may often have, not all will, and it depends on, resources that are available. They may have print copies as well. Those who need that opportunity can study for their citizenship exam as well. The Free Library of Philadelphia offers health-related options for its patrons. So the library loans health equipment out, such as blood pressure monitors, and has resources to help people find healthcare, sign up for benefits, and get free or low-cost food. It also has a Culinary Literacy Center that offers programs for all sorts of different types of eaters. Like if you have health issues, such as celiac disease, they may have, nutrition programs planning how to read a menu, how to, different recipes that you can do. Or if you're just, somebody who likes to cook, it also has information and resources about growing and saving seeds, organic gardening. The Duluth Public Library has a seed library. Like literally, you can check out seeds. Now, you don't have to return those, but one of the things that's been happening is that when patrons plant a garden and that garden, produces and then produces new seed-bearing fruit, they'll bring back seeds. So it's really, an ongoing community resources to make it more self-sustaining. Near where I'm at, in Chattanooga, has the 4th floor of the downtown library, which is a makerspace, 12,000 square feet. It's a public laboratory and educational facilities with a focus on information design technology and applied arts. It also offers classes to teach patrons how to use the equipment. I've gone there and I've taken sewing classes, and I actually changed extra large t-shirt into a little t-shirt dress / tunic, and then I had a pair of pants that I changed the fit of the waist on, and it was really interesting. I was like, this is what I want to learn how to do. I don't want to make something completely new. I'm not ready for that. And there was somebody who was there. It's like, yeah, I'll show you. When I essentially signed up for a time with a mentor who, helped me. I did it. I mean, it was great teaching because they made me do it. They wouldn't do it for me. They made me do it. And I didn't run the needle through any of my fingers whatsoever. And I have pants that fit me better, and I have a t-shirt that is long and it's, it fits my curves, and I'm just so happy with it. This one is nice and loose. I like that sometimes too. But it was neat to be able to do that. It was just, I don't know that it was exactly fun. I was terrified most of the time, again, needle, and you push the pedal and the needle goes jab, 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 jab. And so it's kind of terrifying. I've always been scared of sewing machines, but I was successful, and I was very proud of myself, and I wear that t-shirt and those pants on a regular basis. So it's definitely something to be proud of. They also have a fully functional music studio. Literally, local bands will come in there and record tracks and albums, and any patron can reserve a session to use the studio and or to learn about how to use recording equipment and learn the art of recording. We've also got a power tool collection and hand tools as well, hammers, wrench sets, drills, saws, all sorts of things. Cardholders who are 18 or older can check out up to 3 tools at a time for a week. So if you've got a project, a lot of times, it's like, well, do I want to make this? I mean, I'd like to be able to make this, but I'm going to need this kind of saw, and then you think about the amount of money that you have to spend purchasing the power tools, and it's like, I could just, go to IKEA and, get something that's close to what I want, even if it's not exactly what I want. But you can literally check out power tools from the library, which is just, it blows my mind. In Connecticut, the Westport Free Library has a robotics lab where patrons can learn how to program robots to do things like catch or kick a soccer ball and even dance. And they have 2 robots, Vincent and Nancy, that are autonomous, programmable humanoid robots that they've had since September of 2014. And since then, more than 2,000 people have learned how to program them. So libraries are, I cannot say enough wonderful, supportive things about libraries. Public libraries are, and I say this as a public worker, as someone who believes in public education, but one of the differences between public school and public libraries is that libraries are opt-in. You have complete autonomy, complete freedom. Whereas with public school, there are requirements. You must take this class. You have to go for this time. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Libraries often have bookmobiles and things, especially out here in rural areas, for people who don't have as much access, who can't get to the library. And then again, also the digital and remote options are available as well. But just the freedom that libraries offer, along with the resources that they offer, that combination is something that's especially meaningful to me, because it puts the patron, the citizen, in charge of what they want to learn about, where their passions are, what they're curious about. And it says here, how can we help you? But you're in charge of it. So it's one of those things that I try to inspire my students and encourage them to take charge of their own learning. But at the same time, I am responsible for saying, this is what we're doing. So it's a nice counterpoint to public education. So with all of that said, libraries are public libraries. They're not just something that is provided for us. They are something that we provide for each other. It's important that each of us supports public libraries. So here's some things that you can do to support your public library. First of all, find out where your public library is and when it's open. Find out about your public library. Where's the public library for my city or my county? Or, what libraries are available in my area? And then after that, get a library card. Even if, and I will say this, maybe you have books that are overdue that you've hidden deep in your closet, or you had a library card and you lost a book. And you can't bear the thought of the librarian looking at you and going, oh, it's you. So that's something that actually plagued me for literally years, to the point that when we moved to this town from the south end of the county, I encouraged my husband to get a library card so that I could use his card, because I had lost a book. And then literally 2 years later, I paid the fine, 2 years later, I found the darn thing. And I was like, I can't. So I would take his card and check out books for him. And eventually I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I took my driver's license. And they're like, okay, great. So, do you still have your card? I'm like, no, I don't have my card anymore. And they're like, okay, it's a $2 fee for a new card. It's like, oh, okay. And that was it. That was all there was, and since then I've had books that have been overdue and I pay the fine and they're just like, okay, thanks so much. Or they'll say, you have a $2 fine on your card. And they're just like, you can take care of it whenever. And there have literally been times when I've been like, can you change it to 20? They're like, well, we can, but don't break it to 20. Just get it to it when you can. Librarians are just excited about sharing resources with you. That's what they do. So get a card, use your card. And then also, don't forget to talk it up. Social media, but also in personal conversations with your friends and family. Talk about what you're reading or what you're doing at the library, or how you're involved. Take friends and family with you to the library. Get them familiar with the space. Make it comfortable. Libraries do what they can. Librarians do what they can to make the space as welcoming as possible. But, having people along that that you're familiar with can make an unfamiliar space more welcoming to you as well. Additionally, you can probably volunteer at the library, but in order to do that, you should do what's probably one of the more important things, which is ask a librarian. Different libraries are going to have different needs. So what you can do is go up to the librarian when you have your stacks full of books, either to turn in or to check out, or maybe both, and say, hey, what are some ways that I can help you guys out? Maybe there is some local legislation that's being considered for an expansion, or for, increased funding, or building on, or, repairs or something like that you could encourage the city council to support. Maybe they do need volunteers. Maybe they don't need volunteers, but they just need people to continue to circulate the materials. If you check something out and you don't like it, guess what? You don't have to finish it. You just take it back and check it back in, and that's great. You can make recommendations you say, hey, you don't have this book. It's not available through the Interlibrary Loan, but I've heard about it. And they'll say, that they absolutely welcome those sorts of things. It's not like you're saying, you don't have this book, you're not a good library. They are part of the public. You are part of the public. It is not only your right and your opportunity, but kind of your responsibility to do what you can to support your local library. It is an opportunity and it's a wonderful opportunity. I can't say enough good things about libraries, but for the sake of my own sanity and the fact that I have play practice tonight and I need to fix dinner, I'm going to stop saying things about libraries and just tell you to find out what you can about your library. And I would absolutely be delighted. Please, please, please tell me about your library in the comments down below. Please, please, please leave me comments. But most importantly, check out your local library. Bye, everybody.